Good morning and welcome to the Inside Edge Network. This is Illegal Formation. I am Chad Bryan. I got my man TK Dandridge with me as always. TK, what's going on, man?
Not too much, man. Starting to heat up a little bit. I just checked the temperature. It's 13 degrees now. So, sign of life a little bit.
Yeah, bust out the shorts and make sure the air conditioner is working. It's 13. It's 13
Go.
degrees.
Break out the grill.
I know, right? It's time to get outside and do some stuff. We got a heat wave coming. I think I looked at the 10-day forecast. Nothing really even that close to being above freezing. So I don't know where all the snow in my yard and driveway and all. I got a mess. It's everywhere. I don't know where it's all going to go. So free snow. If anybody wants snow, just got to be able to haul it. You can come get it. It's up to you. You can take as much as you want. You can have it all. Free snow. Just anybody come get that. I don't think anybody's coming, TK. Anyway, welcome to Illegal Formation. Like I said, I'm Chad Bryan. I got TK Dandridge with me. We're going to talk about, I don't know, we got a lot today. We got a lot to get to. Well, not really a whole lot. I mean, just, kind of rehashing. Now that we've had a couple of days to digest the Todd Monken hire, we're going to maybe get a little more in our feelings about that. I know our initial knee-jerk reaction was like, whoa, like, what did they do, right? The whole Jim Schwartz fallout didn't help. I think that might have made our reactions a little exaggerated. I mean, you hear Jim Schwartz is leaving, you worry a little bit, right? You worry about the defense, you worry about Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, the guys that have been through the mud and through all the pretty bad stuff for the last couple of years, and even before that. So you hope that defense remains intact, and you hope somehow you can get Jim Schwartz back in on the ship and then willing to go along with the program, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see in the next few days. I guess we'll probably know a little more, at least in the next couple of weeks. So we will talk about that. We will talk about a possible LeBron James Cleveland Cavs reunion. That's possibly in the cards. Maybe it's been mentioned at the trade deadline. I don't think that gets done in any way, but maybe in free agency he comes back and finishes out his career here in Cleveland. We'll ask if you'd be open to that. We'll find out if we would be open to that at all. And I want to start the show. I lost my notes. My phone went dark here. So I want to make sure I'm doing it in the right order. But I real quick, just a sad note this morning. We heard yesterday that Catherine O'Hara passed away. This morning, I woke up and saw on my phone Grady DeMond Wilson passed away at 79 years old. Listen, one of my favorite shows when I was a kid was Sanford and Son, man. I loved watching the reruns. That theme music is burned into my head. And a real quick story before I get to anything is he played Lamont on Sanford and Son. He was Fred's son. And well, my wife and I were walking one time. We used to live in Mayfield Heights. We were walking, and Mayfield Heights, in the neighborhood that we lived in, you'd have a lot of people that would come around, and people would put trash out, and you could put anything out on the curb, and they would take it, right? So we had a lot of people come through with trucks, and they would grab some of the scrap metal and whatever, right? And do what you do. Well, my wife and I were walking our dog one time, and there was a truck that came over just completely overloaded to the brim, right? Like it looked like it could tip over at any second. And it hits the corner, and my wife just goes, dun, 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 dun. I lost it. I mean,
I would have too. I would have too. Yeah, man. That's
it was perfect timing. And TK, man, I don't know if you ever watched Sanford and Son or whatever. I don't know if you've seen the rerun. I'm sure you've watched it. All right. I don't know. My favorite scene in the show, and it's really not close, is when they try to hustle Fred in the card game, man. Lamont's got some dudes over there. And Fred comes out and acts like, I haven't played cards in 25 years. My wife would never let me play. And they're like, I don't know, man, the stakes are too high for you. And he goes in. And it's one of the funniest scenes, just the way it cuts out and the way it cuts back in. He gets his money out of the safe. He's like, safe, shoebox, top, sock, right? It's like he goes through all the steps. So he smells the sock. He's like, Woolite, gotta get a little ad in there. And pulls a big wad of money out. And they're like, hey, all right, let's hustle this dude, right? So they come back from commercial, and they're hustling out the house. And you think Lamont's going to go in and find Fred, just whatever, all his money's stolen. And he goes, he's just counting a big stack of cash, man. He's got all their clothes, their suits piled up, their shoes. And I forget what Lamont even said to him, but he goes to check the time. He's got all three of their watches on his own. I mean, it's like one of my favorite scenes. Well, it's just not. It's my favorite scene of all time from Sanford and Son. Great memory. I don't know, man, if you have any favorite episode, favorite scene, or whatever. I don't know, man. Tell me something good.
Oh man, there were a few of them. Obviously, every time he, thought he was going to have a heart attack or whatever, he's calling on Elizabeth,
Right.
Every 15 minutes. But I definitely think, I don't know if this is correct, but I think it was Red Wilson, and I think I forget the fellow that played Grady on Sanford and Son. I think they were in a group that were talking about something. It's kind of fuzzy to me right now. I can't really get all the way.
Whitman Mayo was his name.
Say it again.
Whitman Mayo was his name. He played Grady.
There you go. That sounds familiar. But yeah, it's kind of fuzzy to me right now. But yeah, I definitely have quite a few memories. But they're just not all coming to me right now.
Oh, it was great, man. Yeah,
that was definitely rest in peace to Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just was sad to see that. Waking up to a little more sad news this morning. Just wanted to mention that. I thought that was, oh man, like I said, that was one of my favorite shows growing up. I loved watching the reruns of Sanford and Son. So a lot of laughs at that show. I've probably seen that episode 30 or 40 times. I go back every once in a while on YouTube and just I gotta crank it up because it's that funny to me. So let's move on. So Drake May has been a little bit limited for the Patriots in practice the last couple of days. First, it was a shoulder. Now it's illness. He's a little sick. It's that time of the year. All right, we got stuff going on. Are you concerned at all about the Patriots and their ability to get ready for the Seahawks? I mean, the Seahawks are, we've talked. I mean, they've been on fire. Obviously, they're in the Super Bowl for a reason. You can say maybe the Patriots are a benefactor of the Broncos losing Bo Nix and having a roll with Jarrett Stidham. I thought the Patriots would go into Denver and steamroll them a little bit more than, that was a closer game than I thought it would be. So I don't know. I mean, are the Patriots on a little bit of a downswing right now? Are they, especially with Drake May limited in practice, does this concern you at all for that matchup at all, the Seahawks Patriots? Or are the Patriots going to be okay with Mike Vrabel? Or what do you think, T?
I don't think they'll have any problem getting ready. Now, I do question the availability of Drake May. He was dealing with that right shoulder injury. Now it says he was sick. I'm just really worried about his availability for the big game. Hopefully he's good to go. Because if Josh Dobbs gets him that game, it could be messy a lot sooner than later. So it's just, it's just a lot to unravel as far as, quarterback being ready. But I think they should be fine overall. It's just, obviously that big domino. Hopefully Drake May's ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think there would be some concern with the Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks seem to be, I don't know. I mean, would you say they're peaking at the right time? Or I don't know. I mean, I played really well through the playoffs. I mean, some of the playoff memories that stick out in my mind are, opening a game with a kickoff return for a touchdown is always exciting. That feels like, they just kind of rolled over the 49ers after that. I don't know, man. And we can talk about it. We'll get into it a little bit more over the next couple of weeks. We've got the Sunday Sports Show tomorrow where you, Ryan, and I will talk about it a little bit. And then we'll get into it a little bit more next Sunday on actual Super Bowl. We'll talk about that. We'll be back for one more episode of the NFL pregame show. And then forward, it'll continue to be the Sunday Sports Show because there is no NFL after the Super Bowl, right? That's it. And we'll still talk NFL. We've got draft stuff to talk about. I'm sure there's, all kinds of, off-season trades. We've got free agency to get into. The Seahawks are supposedly going to be up for sale after the Super Bowl. So we'll get into that here on either, the Sunday Sports Show or the NFL pregame show. Same people, same setup. No worries. You don't have to do anything different to see us. We'll be right here on the Inside Edge Network. And as always, I should say we're brought to you by LPV Productions. I should mention that. But yeah, we'll talk about that going forward a little bit. But I don't know. Do you think the Seahawks are just kind of peaking at the right time? Are the Patriots going to get run over regardless of who goes out there at quarterback? Or I mean, how are you feeling about this? I mean, you don't have to give me a prediction, but I feel if I'm a Seahawks fan, I feel pretty good right now, right?
Yeah, if you are a fan of the Emerald City Hawks, you are definitely feeling hot today. Especially with the issues, possible issues of Drake May's availability. I do think he'll play. Just don't know exactly how effective he will be. I remember they were worried about Sam Darnold coming into the NFC Championship game, and then he goes for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I definitely think the Seahawks are the better team going into this game. I don't think it's going to be a hogwashing by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think Seattle will come out with the win in this one. If you are fans of the Seahawks, you're definitely feeling good right now, but nothing set in stone. No. You don't want to sleep on anybody, so let's get ready for a good game next week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've had a ton of surprises in the Super Bowl. You feel like it's going to go one way, and sometimes it's just all about how the game starts, right? You get off to a quick start, all of a sudden you're up 14-0, 17-3 or whatever, and things progress very quickly. It seems like sometimes you watch the Super Bowl or whatever, any big game like that, you can't believe like something happened so quickly at the beginning. You're like, man, that changed the whole complexion of the entire matchup. I think of that Ohio State-Miami game, that pick six. I mean, that just completely changed the way Ohio State went at Miami, right? All of a sudden, you're down 14-0 to a very good team. I mean, the thought on social media going in was that Ohio State was just going to handle their business and, somehow blow Miami out. I never thought it was going to be a blowout. You and I talked about it here on the show. We always thought it was going to be close. And it was close. Now I do see Miami fans saying that they blew Ohio State out. I'm not sure that 10 points is a blowout. I don't really know. I'm not always a math guy, but 10 points seems, fairly low for a football game. I think that's a blowout. But they really did handle Ohio State. I mean, I'll say it time and time again. I don't want to hear anything about, officials' calls. Listen.
Right. It definitely felt like the margin of victory was definitely wider.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the game.
Yeah, it felt like, it really feels like Miami won that game 34-14. It really just, and like I said, I've seen people say, oh, it's the officials. There was a hold here. They missed this call, whatever. And I watched Ohio State grab a lot of jerseys and get away with it during that game, man. I mean, it happened both ways. It's not good.
It really did.
Yeah, Miami they came in and they handled Ohio State. There's nothing wrong with saying that, man. It happens sometimes, right? Sometimes the better team that day wins. And that's okay. That happens in football. It's just how it goes. But yeah, I don't know. Seahawks look really good. I mean, it looks like they should be able to handle. The Patriots, what they really haven't done very often this year is beat a team with a record, right? Like they've had a very advantageous schedule all the way through. And I looked at their schedule. A lot of Mike Vrabel coming back and going to the Super Bowl, right? First season. And I'm not going to say they had an easy path. If you get to the Super Bowl in the NFL, it's not easy. It doesn't matter. I don't care what your schedule looks like. You're still playing against the absolute best of the best. You're playing against professional football players. But man, I almost knocked my desk over. It's kind of need the desk to stand up to be able to do the show. But yeah, I mean, you look at their path. I mean, it look all the way to the AFC Championship game. It's just a recent example. You get, a Denver Broncos team without Bo Nix. And you think, like, if you're tired of the Patriots and you got sick of them winning the first time, I'm sure you had to be a little bit irritated. Like, really, man, Bo Nix breaks his ankle, and now, like, here's the Patriots ticket to the Super Bowl again, right? Like, there's a lot of people next Sunday that are going to be having Tom Brady and Bill Belichick flashbacks, man. I mean, it's just for a while Foxborough was the way through an NFL title, right? Like, if you were going to win a Super Bowl, some point you're going to have to either win in Foxborough or beat that team that comes from that was an amazing run. And we talked about it a little bit on prime time. It's just how is Bill Belichick not a first ballot Hall of Famer? We don't have to get into that discussion here, but the absurdity of just the optics of that, I'm sure we'll find out more information here in the next few weeks. A lot of people are already yelling collusion. Their guys are colluding behind Belichick's back or whatever, which is a bad look, really, for any sport. For me, it's almost up there with gambling, with betting on your own team, whatever. It's just you can't. That's affecting the integrity of not just the game, but The Hall of Fame is supposed to be a place where the best of the best are enshrined. And I can't imagine a guy who's won 8 Super Bowl titles, 6 as a head coach, and had 2 different dynasty runs with the same franchise. Uh, I just I don't know, man. I just don't see how he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I
None of us do. None of it makes any sense. And I
yeah,
understand people want to bring up Spygate and Deflategate. First and foremost, Deflategate is the most useless controversy I have ever sat through in my entire life. The Indianapolis Colts, who were the center of that, would agree with me wholeheartedly. I remember everyone on that team, especially head coach at that time, Chuck Pagano, saying, "Yeah, we got our asses handed to us. What exactly are we investigating? How
yeah,
deeply they kicked our ass? They won by 38 points. What exactly is there to investigate? It
right.
was cold. We got drilled. They went to the Super Bowl. Investigation over. It's the dumbest thing ever. Spygate, yeah, I understand the ramifications of that.
Mhm.
It also got Eric Mangini and Josh McDaniels in a little bit of trouble during their own coaching stints. But at the same time, it's like, look, man, everybody's stealing signs. Everybody's got film on everybody. Everybody's, sometimes some people take extreme measures to that, and we're rightfully punished or whatever. He got his punishment. He did his time after doing the crime. Listen, and then he won more after that. So it's like, I just really don't understand, what could be the real big reason. I understand cheating is frowned upon, and the Baseball Hall of Fame, they have similarities in not letting cheaters in. Of
Yeah.
course, they don't want Bonds or McGuire or Sosa in there. Of course, they waited until after Pete Rose died to even consider putting him in, which I thought was very, very sleazy on the part of the MLB. But I do understand nobody wanted to undermine Bert Giamatti, who made the original decision to ban Pete Rose in the first place. And after he died in 1989, nobody was going to cross him, or at least not for some time. So I do
Yeah.
get it. On the other hand, a man that has been a part of 8 Super Bowl championship teams, listen, I don't give a damn if he gave half the team cyanide before every game in 2014. He deserves to be a first ballot head coach. He has more than done his due diligence. He has been in the NFL around the game of football at least since 1972, getting his first NFL job with the then Baltimore Colts and that Ted Marchibroda coached franchise in 1974. He was in Burt Jones's corner quite a bit, and you see exactly where that led him off to. Ended up being the Giants' defensive coordinator for a few years, won 2 Super Bowls with them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, took his ass here for his first head coaching job, but he would mend that mistake later on with 6 rings with the New England Patriots. So, hey, listen, man. Once this committee gets out of their damn feelings, pulls their head out of their trough or whatever, and realizes the error which was made. And
Yeah.
I get it, you guys may have more than 1 point against him. I understand it. That's fine. Man was included in 8 Super Bowl teams. He
Yeah.
went to 9 by himself as the head coach, won another 2 with the New York Giants. I said, listen, man, the guy is a winner. He is the gold standard of every head coach, regardless of league, NFL, college, high school, bantamweight, peewee, don't matter.
Yeah.
Everyone aspires to have a career as rich and as fruitful as Bill Belichick. He very well should be reconsidered to be that first ballot. If not first ballot, then he better be on that second one. If he's not on the second one, then we have a problem. We have a problem with the
Yeah.
Pro Hall of Football fame. Like,
Yeah.
serious beef there.
Yeah. I sometimes I have trouble even finding words. Like you said, I get it. All the gates, whatever, spy gates, flick, it's fine. My problem is when I look at the Hall of Fame, and I guess maybe if you look at the mission statement or whatever of each of the individual Hall of Fames, maybe it is specifically mentioned, but I just feel like the Hall of Fame should be for guys whose name is synonymous with whatever sport it is that you're discussing, right? Um, and we've got some really terrible people in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I'm not going to name them by names. You know who they are. Terrible people, right? So don't an inflated football, I don't think is enough to keep Bill Belichick off any ballot. I don't care what first ballot, second, third, whatever. To me, it's just like I said, the Hall of Fame should be reserved for the guys who, when you think of the sport, you have no choice but to think of them, right? And when you mention them, you immediately you go right to the sport because that's a huge contribution. Whatever. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just not the Hall of guys who did everything the exact right way. I feel like Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Roger Clemens, A-Rod, these guys. I mean, when we're talking about Hall of Fames, they should probably be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I mean, the McGwire Sosa, I believe we've talked about before. That run in '98, it made baseball watchable again. After a work stoppage, which we're looming on the edge of right now, after this, this coming 2026 season, we're probably going to have a pretty major work stoppage in baseball. And you wonder if there's going to be someone afterwards that's going to be able to make baseball watchable again, the way that McGwire and Sosa did, chasing Roger Maris's 61. I don't know. Whatever. We've gotten off topic, and that's fine. Let's move on. Normally it's all week on the show. We've been starting stuff with Browns coverage, and we're going to get to that. We're going to get to it right now. And I want to talk to you, TK. We've had a few days to digest the Todd Monken hire, right? We've gone over it. We've picked it apart with a fine-tooth comb, and we've pretty much looked at everything here on the Inside Edge Network. From just about every show has covered Todd Monken, right? We saw the video yesterday. I don't know if you saw the video of Shedeur Sanders meeting Monken for the first time. Not meeting him for the first time, but as the Browns head coach and Browns quarterback, right? They met in the offices. I don't know. It looked like pretty high spirits. I mean, Monken's a pretty energetic guy, good energy, whatever. I've been reading more about him all week, and I remember why I initially, when I thought John Harbaugh was in play for the Browns, and I thought at that time Harbaugh would probably bring Monken over to be his offensive coordinator, and I thought, man, I could go for round 2 of Todd Monken. I think we could do some things here with Monken as an offensive coordinator. The 2,000-yard receivers, he had a 1,515-yard rusher, maybe a little more than that, 1,500-yard rusher. Back in 2019 when Monken was here the first time. We talked about all the dysfunction that was going on with Freddie Kitchens and the locker room being divided or whatever. So I guess TK, first of all, before I even ask you, you see the graphic there. It says, is he the Browns' future? Or, is he just a bridge coach to get us to the Dome, to get us over to Brook Park? Before you answer that question, I just want to know, are you feeling a little bit better? I know we were, during our marathon coverage, you were in your feelings a little bit. I get it. We all were. We were all like, what happened? Like I said, first of all, Jim Schwartz, the fallout, whatever, it was bad. And it felt like, like you want to blame somebody. You blame Todd Monken. How dare you get hired, you jerk. The Todd Monken's not dry. I mean, he's a great guy. But no, I mean, are you feeling a little bit better? Have you had some time to go over some information, or where are you at? You still feeling pretty bad about this? Is this still a bad hire for the Browns? Do you feel better? I mean, where are you psychologically, mentally, physically with the Todd Monken hire right now, TK?
First and foremost, it was definitely an over-the-hill crash out on my part, and I do apologize for that. Definitely was a knee-jerk reaction. Was more confused than upset. Obviously, we had the general idea that, we were going towards one direction, and then to just chalk it up to the very first guy that we interviewed, it very much felt like, okay, we went through all this, screw it, back to square one. That's what it seemed like at first. But like I said before, Todd Monken is an old school head coach. He does have a lot of leadership qualities that you look for. Granted, he's never been a head coach at the NFL level, only had the 3 years at the University of Southern Miss. Granted, got that program back to respectability and decided to come back to the NFL immediately to try to be a coordinator yet again. And was successful. We talked about the 3 years he had at Tampa. Of course, the 1 year here where Baker had thrown for 3,800 plus yards. and 22 touchdowns, and of course the 2,000-yard receivers with OBJ and Juice, and obviously Chubb Rock doing Chubb Rock things in his very first 1,500-yard season of his career.
Yeah.
However, you think, all right, this guy's going to be 60 in February. He's never had a head coaching job in the NFL. He didn't have much buzz this coaching cycle other than the interviews that he had with us. And I definitely think that may have turned a few people off, definitely had us confused because we heard the direction that they wanted to go through. They wanted the young hot shot that was a couple of years away from being a star and possibly being the, new age innovator and schematic genius that, Grant Udinski had been portrayed to be, as well as Nathan Shieldhouse of the Los Angeles Rams. Definitely got a lot of praise and acclaim as their passing game coordinator. But I definitely think it was more of a shock than anything. I definitely think Todd Monken has the resume to rebuild an offensive program. Talked about how long he's been in coaching. He's been coaching since 1989. So, I definitely think the first-time opportunity of becoming a head coach in the NFL is a bit late. It gives you a little bit of a Mark Trestman feel a little bit. I don't want to go there because I definitely think he is a better coach than Mark Trestman. Mm-hmm. Granted, he was a CFL head coach for a very long time before getting the job with the Bears. I do hope that he makes me eat crow for the crash out that I ensued on Wednesday. I definitely hope he makes me look like a complete idiot and turns this offense around immediately. I want that. I absolutely want that. Sure. Seeing him interact with Shedeur Sanders, we know that he recruited him heavily while he was the offensive coordinator at Georgia. The Baltimore Ravens wanted to draft him sometime in the 5th round last year. And so now he's the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. I hope this works out well. You still got that big $80 million Deshaun Watson question that needs to be answered. Yeah. But I do think he's leading towards the development of 12 and trying to get the absolute best out of him and jumpstarting this offense in the right direction. Now, do I think he is the future or the bridge coach? To be honest, the deal that he signed would make you think that he was the bridge coach. I mean, the fact that we got him for 3 years, I definitely think the amount was just over $15 million. That looks like the epitome of a bridge deal right there. But I do understand why it was made. This is very much an experiment for both sides, for the Browns organization, and obviously for Todd Monken being a first-time head coach. So you got to see how this goes. Right now, he is the bridge coach. There's really no other way to put it, especially when you sign a 3-year deal for that cheap. You are obviously in the realms of being a bridge coach. Now, can he be the future? Can he make his way to the new Brook Park Stadium? I think so. This offense is going to have to be elite, and we're going to have to win quite a few games for that to become a possibility. So there's a lot to look forward to. I think right now you would lean towards him being the bridge. You would hope he's the future. But if not, obviously there's going to be that hiring cycle in 2029. We don't know what's going to shake up by that time. But, this deal would indicate that, that is the idea to have him as the bridge coach for right now.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to know what the Browns are thinking, just as a franchise. If they're bringing in Monken to maybe bring in someone on this staff that they're going to kind of be the next head coach, the future per se. If they've got an eye on somebody else in the league and they're just going to, hey, let's just recalibrate in 3 years. Let's see where Nate Shieldhouse or Grant Udinski are in 3 years. Who knows if they're even still legitimate targets at that time. I think a lot of people got really excited about the young, flashy hire. And I think Mary Kay Cabot brought up a great point. How do we know that these guys would be good head coaches? We don't know. I mean, it's all speculation, right? I think I've said it so many times this week, and I stand by it. I still mean it. I think sometimes as a coach, all you have to do is be adjacent to a quarterback who figures it out while you're on the roster as an offensive coach, and you've got pretty good job security, whether it's college football or the NFL. There just seems to be this weird mystique around coaches who are close to quarterbacks who just suddenly get it. And sometimes it could have nothing to do with that coach. It just might be a quarterback goes out and studies film for a year and suddenly things click and the game slows down and you start to anticipate, guys coming open and your throws are quick, you get them out quicker, whatever. You start to learn to navigate the pocket a little better. And all of a sudden, the offensive coordinator or the quarterback's coach is the next, that's the hottest guy, right? Like, here we go. Like the next coaching cycle, this is the guy because, man, remember that quarterback threw like 40 touchdowns. It may have nothing to do with the coach. And sometimes maybe it has everything to do with the coach. But regardless, you're going to get the credit. So I think that's the way to make yourself the guy, right? Like try to get close to a quarterback and hope they figure it out. I don't know. Any thoughts on Travis Switzer as the offensive coordinator? I know he was in Baltimore for a while. Actually played offensive line here, just right locally at Akron, right? University of Akron. So he knows his way around Northeast Ohio, literally and figuratively. Kind of understands the temperature of probably how Browns fans can be. A little passionate about their team, little opinionated. And that's okay. That's fine. That's great. You want that, right? You want your fans to care. But do you have any thoughts on Travis Switzer? And I want to ask you one more thing. If I remember, I'm old. Sometimes I forget. So keep that in mind. I'm going to ask you one more question about this. But thoughts on Travis Switzer as the OC. Is that good? Is that bad? Is that indifferent to you? I mean, how are you feeling there?
To be quite honest, I'm excited about Travis Switzer joining the staff. I think he has a little bit to prove as an offensive coordinator. He was a huge part of why the Baltimore Ravens' run game was so successful. Now, it obviously helps when you have a quarterback like Lamar Jackson and an absolute unit in Derrick Henry as the running back. I still don't know how he became a Raven so easily. The Titans didn't even want to fight for him. That is still crazy to me. But at the same time, when you have a run game as good as the Ravens, it's always good to want to get down to one of the sources of it and for us to be able to bring him and put him on the coaching staff, along with offensive line coach George Warhop. We managed to get him away from the Ravens, too.
Yeah.
I think he was definitely en route to head to New York with Harbaugh. There were a lot of guys that I thought were going to head with John Harbaugh off to the New York Giants that have made their way to Cleveland somehow. And to be honest, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. I think you said a lot when you said that. I mean, hey, I could look good as the run game coordinator with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, right? Like I have no idea what I'm doing, but again, you get adjacent to the right couple of guys, and all of a sudden now, like you're with that success, right? It's the way that we look at Phil Jackson. I mean, Phil Jackson is pretty widely considered to be one of the top head coaches in NBA history. Like, look at all the titles. Look at all the Jordans and all the Kobes and all the Shaqs, man. Like, of course he won some titles. Like, that's crazy.
And of course, we can't forget that he got with Hall of Fame coach Tex Winter first, and learned his system and his game and applied it to his own coaching set. So yeah, a lot of people.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I think that you take a little bit from your surroundings, right? If you coach Michael Jordan and you coach Kobe and Shaq on the same team at the same time. And don't forget, Jordan had Pippen. I mean, I think a lot of people overlook Scottie Pippen and his importance and his role on those Bulls teams. So I don't know. I mean, Phil Jackson had it pretty good. Yeah, he had a great system. Learned it from someone, like I said, Tex Winter, sideline triangle, perfected it, crafted it to maybe had two great players in Jordan and Kobe to really execute it. So let's not forget about that either. I think sometimes the coach gets credit for the players. Whatever. We'll see. It's the whole Tom Brady, Bill Belichick thing, right? Bill Belichick was lucky enough to attach his wagon to an extremely successful quarterback, or was it the other way around? We don't know. Well, we have some idea because Tom Brady went on and won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. So we have some idea how that went, but I think Belichick was pretty good too. First ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah. All right. Well, whatever. And I was going to ask you too. Okay. So if Monken, let's get back to Todd Monken. He comes in and we saw the interaction with Shedeur Sanders. There are two other quarterbacks on this roster currently. You've got Deshaun Watson sitting there. You've got Dylan Gabriel on the roster as well. Do you, TK, think it's better for Monken to come in and say, hey, Shedeur's the guy, day one, or do you think it's better for him to open up, and they may still add another quarterback. I don't know if they're going to add anything to this roster or not for depth or for competition purposes. Who knows? Again, it's hard to tell what the Browns are thinking sometimes. But anyway, back to my question. Do you think it's better for him to say, hey, look, Shedeur's the guy. He was the star at the end of the season. That's who we're going forward with. I wanted to draft him when I was with the Ravens. I can work with him. This is the plan. Or do you think it's better for him to come in and open up a quarterback competition and say, hey, best guy wins, and then we're going to go forward with that? Because we talked about how Monken's very good at crafting an offense around what he has on the roster. So he's not a guy that has to pick a quarterback right away. I think he can take a look and whatever. But which one do you think is better, to roll with Shedeur or to open it up and say, hey, open competition, whoever wins, wins?
Now, as much as I would love for him to come out and say that Shedeur Sanders is going to be quarterback number one for the entire season, one, it is much too early, and two, you have an $80 million bugaboo that's still on your roster, and we need to see exactly what we have left in him. Do we just let this $80 million wash up by the wayside, or do we actually continue to kick the tires on this? Me personally, I've been telling everybody, look, get ready for a quarterback competition, whether it is a two-man between Watson and Sanders, or they include Gabriel in there and make it a three-man quarterback duel for the duration of the offseason. I definitely think competition brings out the best in all of us. We all know that. I definitely would love to see if Shedeur can definitely further separate himself in the quarterback room as the QB1 or the QB in the future, and get the absolute most out of that room and out of him, as what Todd Monken would hope to do. I definitely think that's the biggest reason why he came here. But you have to understand that Deshaun Watson is also still there. So granted, there is a big question mark on this quarterback room, the biggest question mark on the quarterback room in the NFL. But I definitely think Todd Monken is going to figure out to get the answers that he wants in the fashion that I think he thinks suitable for this football team. And I think the best way to go about that is to have a well-ran quarterback competition. I definitely think that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah, I think it's probably better to take a look at everything you have on the roster. And I think the Browns, you mentioned, the $80 million less. That is Deshaun Watson right now, and what his contract has meant and what it's really done to the Browns over the last few years. I think the hope there is that they can restructure that again, right? They keep restructuring his contract. There's some room with Denzel Ward to restructure his contract to create a little cap space. And I think that's the hope. I don't know if either of these guys are going to be open to that. I mean, it's hard to tell where Denzel Ward's head is. I mean, he really hasn't said much publicly since the Monken hire and the Schwartz fallout, supposed alleged fallout. We don't know yet. Nothing's official. I'm sure there's I would hope that there are a ton of discussions going on behind the scenes, whether it's trying to get Jim Schwartz back with the program, or just back on, period, to talk him off the ledge, so to speak, or who knows. I mean, I've heard some rumblings about who may be the defensive coordinator, but there's nothing concrete as far as who Monken would be looking at. I think right now the game plan is to try to get Jim Schwartz back in the fold, and you hope that you can do that for some sense of continuity. But at the same time, I think we all understand how Jim Schwartz could feel a little bit passed over, right? If he felt like this was going to go to him. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I don't know what those discussions were. I mean, we talked about it leading up. Where is Jim Schwartz in this, right? Like, where is he mentally? I mean, is he just, hey, I'm here. You hire a guy, great, I'll be the defensive coordinator. You hire me, great, I'll be the head coach. We'll figure it out. Clearly now we know, allegedly, we don't want to, we know where his head was during that time. It sounds like he felt like he was going to get this head coaching job. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of work to do there. I'm sure it's a lot for Todd Monken to walk into this, right? Like it's not just like walking into a staff and being able to, okay, I'm gonna fill out. Now you've got to try to appease Jim Schwartz a little bit. You want to bring him back, or maybe Monken doesn't. Maybe Monken hopes that he moves on. I have no idea. So I think some of the speculation is there. TK, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a couple-minute break. And then when we get back on the other side of the break here on the Inside Edge Network on the Legal Formation, I'm going to talk to you about, we talked about Monken's, reunion here in Cleveland. There could possibly be another reunion in Cleveland looming, whether it's at the NBA trade deadline or in free agency. We got to talk about that because it's a big one. I mean, people are pretty divided. Listen, it's a polarizing subject, right? And we're going to get to it after the break. Would we welcome LeBron James back? Is he? What a dumb question, really. I can't believe there are people here. Anyway, I think you know where I stand on what side I'm on this. But whatever. We're going to talk about, would you welcome LeBron James back for a Cleveland reunion? But again, that's just on the other side of the break. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes on the Inside Edge Network. Bear with us. We'll be right back. All right, it's my first time on air. I forgot to unmute my mic. Welcome back. Um, welcome back to the Inside Edge Network. We're here on illegal formation. We are, I don't know, we're just discussing before the break. We were talking about Todd Monken. We talked about a little bit about the Patriots and their preparation for the Super Bowl and just what they're up to. With Drake May out with the shoulder, out with a little bit of illness or whatever. And we talked about the fact that, with Monken coming back, it's a little bit of a reunion from 2019, right? Not exactly, the feel good fest that it was when they first hired Freddie Kitchens and everybody said, hey, look at this. It's going to be fun. And then it really wasn't that much fun, right? The whole locker room ended up divided. It seemed like Freddie Kitchens lost control of that team fairly quickly that season, even though there was a little bit of success offensively. I mean, we talked about 2,000-yard receivers, a 1,500-yard rusher. Baker Mayfield had a nice year. It was fun to watch offensively, but man, like I said, just personnel-wise and chemistry-wise, that team fell apart. We talked about it the other night on Inside Edge Primetime with Eli Moon, and Double A was on with us, and we had Odell Beckham's dad, making YouTube videos and, like I said, getting more views than I could ever hope for, just for calling out Baker Mayfield. But whatever, that's what it was. That's what it was. That's what it was in 2019. And we hope that dysfunction is gone. But sometimes we talk about that dysfunction coming from the top down. And listen, Jimmy Haslam takes offense to it. He doesn't think the Browns have a dysfunctional building in Berea. But then, you get news of Jim Schwartz leaving with the Todd Monken hire, and all of a sudden you have, at the very least, a lack of communication in the building, if not total dysfunction. So something's going on over there. But anyway, the reunion with Todd Monken is set in stone. He's the head coach. So I want to ask you, TK, since we're talking about Cleveland reunions, if we could have a reunion with somebody else, let's pick just anybody randomly out of the air. How about LeBron James? There's a little bit of sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire, but I think anytime LeBron's contract is coming to an end, I think there's always been that talk of, hey, this maybe he comes back to Cleveland again, right? We had him back for 4 years. That was fun. That was not probably. That was the best run in Cavs history. Anytime you win a title, the only title in franchise history, that's the best run in your history. And to top that off, they went to the finals 4 straight times. I mean, you really can't get much better than that. So unfortunately, the Warriors' rise coincided, with the Cavs' rise there. So they took a few titles away from Cleveland, but you got the team title. That's okay. You won a championship. So that's the holy grail, right? Especially here in Cleveland, man. You win a title, and you're forever remembered as the guy who saved Cleveland. Except for some people, that's not how they look at LeBron James, right? I mean, I read stuff on social media all the time. I see all the LeBum, LeBaby, LeCrybaby, LeThis, LeThat, whatever. People want to get into political affiliations. Man, sports, chill. Like, it's just let basketball be basketball. Guys are allowed to have a platform from which they speak. Guys are allowed to have their opinions, man. It's the First Amendment. Like, you can't stifle someone's opinion and their ability to express that because you only want to see them play basketball, right? Like, just let people be people, right? You may not agree, right? But that's the beauty of what this nation is supposed to be built upon, right? We're supposed to be able to disagree and still get along and still understand that we're working toward a common goal in a common direction. That's for some reason over the last, I don't know, few, you could say whatever reason you think it is, but we're not going to talk about that here on the show. But that's falling apart. It's just pretty much one side against another, and it's pure. It's whatever. Anyway, are you Team LeBron? Are you not Team LeBron? I mean, this should be the easiest answer, I think, for anybody who's a Cleveland fan, anybody who watched either one of those LeBron runs, because his first run here, I've said it, probably the third best run in Cavs history, right? At least it was a lot of fun to watch. I still remember, being I had just taken a job as a bartender when they came back in that Pistons series to go to the finals the first time back here. And listen, they got run over by the Spurs. It's understandable. That roster that LeBron James dragged to the NBA finals that year, absolutely absurd that those guys made it to the finals. But that series that was prime Cleveland basketball, man. I mean, that was so much fun to watch. Every night was so exciting. I still remember the way that whole place was lit in there every single game, right? I had the opportunity to work like pretty much almost every game of that series. And the way LeBron just took over a few times, it was so much fun to watch. Uh, just I mean, and I get it. He's 41, and people want to say, "Oh, he's terrible. He's trash now." Listen, the man's 41 years old. He's averaging 22, 6, and 6 in the NBA. Man, at 42, there were times I could barely get out of bed without turning an ankle. Like, let's not. So what? He had sciatica. I don't care, man. The guy's 41 years old. So TK, if the Cavs get a chance to bring LeBron back, some people are saying Evan Mobley for LeBron. I think that's putting the cart before the horse. That's getting a little excited about it. But if we can bring him back in free agency, would you be open to that? I mean, would you be okay with seeing LeBron play one more year here, close out his career, maybe 2 seasons? Who knows?
I would definitely be open to bringing LeBron back. The biggest thing with that, though, is obviously going to be money. He's making just a hair over $52 million this season. He had just signed a 2-year, $101 million extension in 2024. So that is going to be your biggest optic. Obviously, with Donovan Mitchell signing his extension, I think Evan Mobley is also due for one. Nobody's sure what's going to happen with Jared Allen or DeAndre Hunter moving forward. Money is going to be the biggest thing. Now, you've never really seen a 42-year-old athlete demand close to $50 million, but no 42-year-old athlete has been that of LeBron James, possibly Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, to still be able to do the things that he does, like you said, he's averaging 21, 6, and 6 at the age of 41. So that is extremely impressive. But yeah, this is going to come down to the money. How is he going to fit on the Cleveland Cavaliers' books? And that is a big mystery in itself, as in who to move or how much to get rid of, because you still want to have a decent bench. You don't want to have your whole team being top heavy, just having a starting five, a legit starting five, and then your bench has absolutely no one to look forward to. And then you're last in the NBA in bench points. So that's a lot to deal with, but I definitely think the biggest issue is going to come down to exactly how much money is it going to take to get 23 back in the wine and gold.
Yeah. Do you think do you think he'd be willing to take a hometown discount, or is it pretty much still in the cards for him? He wants to be one of the top paid guys in the league. I mean, he's not the top paid guy in the league, but
right.
Would he take a hometown discount to come back here? I mean, is it, I don't know. I mean, you saw he was pretty emotional the other night during the tribute video, right? I mean, it got him, right? I mean, and I understand you spent a lot of time here. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into Cleveland, and to see the love, on the video board. I mean, I thought he got a great, just a great ovation, welcome, reaction, whatever you want to say from the crowd. So at least we know the people who were in the arena watching basketball games for the Cavs still appreciate him. I know social media can be a wild place. And you never know who, you don't know who really is even making these comments or where their mindset is. Sometimes it can be a little wild when it comes to LeBron. It gets pretty polarizing. But I mean, if he's that emotionally, invested and obviously the memories are there. They're thick, Do you think he's willing to take a hometown discount to come back here, or is that not in the cards?
To be quite honest with you, I don't want to assume anything on the part of LeBron. It wouldn't make sense, considering that this man is almost a billionaire if he's not already crossed that plateau already. But, it would be, I could understand fans thinking, maybe he'd be interested in that. Maybe instead of the 50 million, maybe he takes, 20, 25 million, maybe just to play a year or two here. But that is a big assumption. He is still one of the best players in all of the NBA. His stats have tapered off a little bit. He's still very much that guy. So yeah, that's definitely something to think about. I don't think it'll be set in stone. That's another wait and see thing. I definitely think if he wanted to possibly make leverage for another 2-year, $100 million deal, he probably could do that. But again, not really sure. Maybe he does take the hometown discount. Maybe he does miss us. Maybe he just misses how young he used to be and all the crazy stuff that he used to do back then.
Yeah.
We'll see, man.
I think we all miss. Well, listen, not a lot
Yeah.
of done crazy stuff like LeBron. But sometimes I look at pictures and videos of myself 10, 15 years ago, and I'm like, man, a lot of time's gone by, right? Like, I
Yeah.
remember those days. Yeah, everybody gets a little nostalgic from time to time. Something that nobody's really, or maybe people have talked about, but I haven't seen it. There's always been this pull for LeBron, I think, to play in New York, at Madison Square Garden. Do you think there's any part of him that forget the reunion at home? I'm going to go play in New York for a couple of years. I mean, would they be able to make? I don't even know their financial situation, to be honest with you, but it just popped into my head. Like, he's always mentioned Madison Square Garden as being like kind of his mecca for basketball, right? And I think it's the mecca for a lot of people. But when you talk about Madison Square Garden, I mean, the New York Knicks, I mean, that's it, right? For some people, for a lot of people. Do you think LeBron would go play for the Knicks for a year, just to say, hey, look, I played for the Lakers, I played for the Knicks? I mean, is that a possibility we could be looking at, or no?
I honestly think that could be a possibility too. Remember, he had flirted around with the idea quite a bit during his first stint with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I honestly thought that was going to be the team that he was going to end up with when he left as a free agent in 2010. But obviously, him and the boys decided to team up in South Beach and go on a legendary run down there.
Yeah.
Completely understandable. That was a wonderful time in basketball history. Not going to hate on it anymore. But it could be a possibility. Maybe he wants to play with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. Again, he's going to be a free agent. I don't think anybody is going to kick the tires on trading for this man. I understand he is great. I understand he's still one of the best players in the NBA. Somebody's grandfather. Okay, but we're not emptying out the treasure chest of draft picks for someone's granddad. It ain't going down. It makes absolutely no sense. Regardless of how good he is, he does not have that much time left. I know I like to get on here and clown around with the PED jokes, and regardless of how true those might be,
Mhm.
it's not really important. So I definitely think, yeah, maybe he would want to go to New York. Why not to have 41 appearances at the world's most famous arena?
Yeah.
So it's definitely something to think about. Maybe he skips a third reunion at home and possibly goes to New York.
Yeah. I'm not one of the people. I don't think he owes Cleveland anything. I think he's more than delivered on any promises. I mean, he came back here to win a championship, and they did that in 2016. And I think that to demand more of him now at this point in his career, to demand it is wild. Listen, accept it. If he comes back, you'll take it, right? Absolutely, I'm open to the idea of a reunion, but I don't think I don't look at LeBron James like he owes us. He left again, and now that's the beauty of free agency. I mean, these guys they have their own free will. They get to make their own decisions. Again, we don't get to dictate that. We can't tell them what their opinions are on anything, and we can't tell them where to play. I mean, that's the beauty of having your own career and being in charge of that. You get to make those decisions for yourself. So hey, more power to him. I remember being a little like hurt at the time when he said he was taking my talents to South Beach. I was going to Miami. That hurts, right? You watch Cleveland, you watch the Cavs, you want to see them win, whatever. I mean, to me, I wasn't even in Cleveland at the time. I was just in Ohio. I was down Midwest Ohio, but I still, I mean, it was a blast watching the Cavs and watching LeBron at that time. And I just moved up here, so I wasn't like entrenched in being a Cavs fan my whole life. Like I grew up with Michael Jordan. I mean, I liked watching the Bulls when I was a kid. It was like, I guess in a way for the NBA, before I moved up to Cleveland, I was always kind of just, I gravitated toward the player, right? So Jordan was the guy as I was a kid. All right. Comments rolling in, but not necessarily gonna put that one up on the show. Thanks, Raul. I appreciate you. I laughed. I mean, don't get me wrong, made me laugh, but my kids are watching, so thanks, Raul. Still funny though. Regardless, like I said, I'd be open to it. Listen, it is what it is. I think it'd be fun to see. It's a cool story if he comes back. And what if they won another title? I mean, I'm not saying that physically it would be because LeBron came here, but I mean, he could be a great mentor for guys like Evan Mobley. And I mean, the Cavs are thinking about moving DeAndre Hunter. There's a lot of steam there. They're going to have to find a third team because of the whole, second apron thing, the money thing in the NBA. I've said it time and time again. I'm a sports guy. NBA trades confuse me, man. It's like,
Yeah.
I got to go back and get like a calculus degree or something to figure. I got to go back and major in math. I don't know. Hey, yeah, I can put this one up. Hey, see, TK. Raul's glad you're warm, man. He's glad you're warm and comfortable today. He's concerned about your personal well-being. So I appreciate you, Raul Havana. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be open to it. Whatever. TK, any parting shots, any final thoughts before we get out of here? We're about at the hour mark. Papa Moon going to be coming up. We want to get him on the network. We don't want to take over the airwaves and not let him do his thing. So do not miss that. That's coming up soon. I'm not sure exactly what time they'll get started, but I'm sure that'll be soon. So anyway, any final thoughts, anything before we get out of here, before we enjoy the rest of our Saturday, TK?
Yeah, definitely wanted to wish the absolute best to our brand new head coach, Mr. Todd Monken. I do realize that you have been here in the past and you've dealt with the dysfunction of this organization head on. I need you to realize, good sir, that nothing has changed since then. Please be well aware of what you have stepped into. I'm sure it's all over your shoes and it stinks already. But at the same time, the absolute best of luck to you. I've watched you as an OC very closely since 2016. We saw what you were able to do with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You had an okay year with us. Obviously winning 2 national championships with the Georgia Bulldogs and getting Lamar Jackson his second MVP. I do understand that a lot of people try to water down the MVP that you helped Lamar win simply due to the fact that former Houston Texans head coach David Culley was responsible for his first MVP season way back in 2019 when he was their OC, when he led the league in touchdown passes. But for that being said, I do think you are a solid NFL coach. Granted, you have not had head coaching experience at this level. It is never too late to try, especially since you are still above ground. So I definitely wish you the absolute best of luck. Shedeur Sanders as well, even Deshaun Watson to an extent. And hopefully we can have a fruitful season and break the mar of this losing that we've had these past couple of seasons. So that's just what's on my mind right now. It's been a rough couple of years for us Browns fans. Granted, we haven't hit rock bottom like we once were early in the mid-2010s, but at times it kind of seemed like we were heading there. Hopefully, this is a move. Granted, if he's the bridge coach or not, or if he makes it to Brook Park or not. Granted, we can knock off some of that rust and get back to winning something. Can't even say winning ways because we haven't been that consistent with it, but let's win something.
Yeah, I would love to see the Browns win a division. I mean, it's been decades, TK. Decades, literal decades. So I think the last thing that was on my mind is I was just kind of thinking about that Shedeur Sanders, Todd Monken video of them meeting and kind of, chopping it up a little bit. I think it brought a lot of credibility to what a lot of time. I think a lot of people dismissed what Deion Sanders had said about the Ravens looking to draft Shedeur, but why would you, don't want him to play there behind Lamar for another 10 years or whatever. And everyone said, whatever. The Ravens didn't want Shedeur. But I mean, I don't know. Todd Monken seemed to confirm that. So I don't know if you're of the thought that Todd Monken and Deion Sanders are colluding for some reason to make the world think the Ravens wanted Shedeur Sanders. I don't know why they would do that. But maybe that's what you think. Maybe everything's a conspiracy theory to you. I don't know. I thought that led some, like I said, it lended some credibility to what Deion said. And, if Monken truly wanted to work with Shedeur Sanders in Baltimore, and now he's got him in Cleveland, I think that's cool. I think it was cool to see the energy. I was just trying to imagine, and listen, I'm not trying to compare anybody to Kevin Stefanski or speak ill of Kevin Stefanski. He's gone. He's down in Atlanta. I get that. But I was trying to picture that meeting between Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur Sanders going that way. And I don't know. I just think Monken's just a completely different type of dude, different personality. I like the energy. I think press conferences are going to be different as long as he's here. There shouldn't be a whole lot of, I mean, listen, these guys, there's always going to be coach speak. They're not going to come out and tell you exactly what's going on behind the scenes and tell you all their thoughts and feelings. And I get that. I certainly understand why Kevin Stefanski and certain guys want to keep it completely buttoned up. But I think, we might get a little bit more from Todd Monken during his time here, just a little bit different energy, right? People are different. And I think that's a good thing to remember, that people are different doesn't make them better or worse, right? People, we're all different. And if we can all get along and move in the same direction and work toward the same goal, I think it makes it a lot better. Whether you're talking about the Browns, the state of Ohio, the country, the world, whatever, I think if we just work together, it's a lot easier to get things done rather than all the infighting. I don't think I changed the world in one party shot there, but maybe somebody listened. Maybe that got home to someone. So anyway, listen, this has been Illegal Formation. For my man TK Dandridge, I am Chad Bryan. You are right here on the illegal. You're not on the Illegal Edge Network. That'd be weird. Then there would be Pirate Radio, Pirate TV or something. You're on the Inside Edge Network. Words are hard sometimes when you talk all week. Sometimes your words just leave you, man. There's been a ton of Browns coverage this week. It's been a lot of fun. And make sure you catch Papa Moon. Like I said, he's coming up a little bit later on this afternoon. He'll be on right here on the Inside Edge Network. And then tomorrow, TK and our good friend Ryan Mosser, who reminded me, by the way, that everywhere Todd Monken has gone, someone's had a career year. Made me feel a little bit better, right? Talked me off the ledge a little bit about Todd Monken. So we'll have Ryan Mosser on tomorrow. TK, we're going to go about 11. Tomorrow is going to be the first test run of what we're going to call the Sunday Sports Show, because after the NFL season, there's no more NFL pregame show. We can't keep riding that horse, right? We can't do that. So we're going to call it the Sunday Sports Show. We're going to come at you from about the same time, about 11 to 1. And TK, just think about this. I want you to bring one topic tomorrow that you want to talk about. We don't even have to pre-discuss it. I don't care if it's a surprise on the air, whatever. We can just react to it. It doesn't have to be all buttoned up in stats and research all the time. We can just kind of, kick it from the top of our heads or whatever, just what we're feeling about something. So think about one topic. We'll go over some local and some national headlines, of course, if anything goes on. If we end up with a defensive coordinator, whether that's Jim Schwartz or whatever, we'll definitely talk about that tomorrow. I don't see that announcement coming anytime soon. I think that's going to take some finessing behind the scenes before we really know what's going on. Who knows when that'll be? I don't have an idea. I know sometime next week will be the introductory press conference. I can talk. I promise. I can say words. So we'll cover that as soon as that happens. So we'll have it live for you. We don't quite have that feed just yet, but we will bring you some video and some thoughts and reactions to Todd Monken's introductory press conference. I did it. So we'll talk about that next week. I think that'll be sometime next week. I'd imagine they'd want to do that sooner than later. Probably trying to get some of the Jim Schwartz stuff buttoned up first to have an idea if we're going to have a defensive coordinator. I can't imagine the questions that are going to come from the Cleveland media. It's going to be fun. Are they going to give Todd Monken a hard time? Are they going to lob some softballs to him? I think that, bears some thought as we head into that next week. But first, just guys, enjoy your weekend. It's Saturday. You want to get outside and do a lot of outside activities because, like TK said, is it still 13? It's a balmy. It's 13. It's 14 degrees. And it feels like all the way up to 4. Guys, we're almost into the air feeling like double digits when it comes to the temperature. So get outside. No, don't get outside. I don't care what you do. If you like the cold weather, go ski in it. I don't care. I don't like this stuff. I want spring. But enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we will see you tomorrow morning on the Sunday Sports Show right here on the Inside Edge Network. Like I said, that'll be me. That'll be TK Dandridge. That'll be Ryan Mosser. It's going to look like the Sunday NFL pregame show. It's going to sound like the Sunday NFL pregame show, but it's going to be just a little different format. So it'll be fun. So definitely come along for the test drive for that. That'll be a lot of fun. And until then, like I said, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Saturday. We'll see you tomorrow morning here. Papa Moon coming up a little bit later. And that's all I've got for you guys. Just enjoy your Saturday. We'll see you tomorrow morning. All right, later on.